Hey guys, welcome back to the Oldbarn Homestead. Well, you saw, yeah. I haven't made a video on this channel in a long time. I thought I'd just make one and show you what was going on outside the shop. Most of the videos you see on my other channel, I'm always inside the shop working on stuff, fabricating, whatever. So, yeah, so I was just cutting the grass. I'm trying to get out early in the mornings and get this cut, man. It is, you know, I don't know where all you guys are from, but the spring and early summer here in Texas has been the rainiest I can remember in quite some time. I mean, it has rained and rained and rained. And we finally got several days of dry weather, and things have kind of dried up a little bit. And those of you that watch the channel for a while know that I have, you know, some water, you know, issues. And it isn't just me, it's this whole area, you know, in this area of Texas I'm in. And you'll notice, I don't know if you've ever noticed around, but there are no pine trees here, and pine trees don't grow here because there is a really deep layer of clay beneath the topsoil, and that clay is what, you know, causes the water not to permeate the soil, and we have, you know, standing water all the time when it rains a lot. So and this little area here always wants to stand, and it's finally got dried out where I could get in there. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you a little look at the shop. I'm gonna get that gutter off and go get another section of it. I mean, I'm sure I can probably get that for 20-30 bucks and pop it back on there. I might see if I can straighten that out and beat on it and bang on it a little bit, take it off and see if I can work on it and get it back on there and make it look halfway decent. But, you know, it's been 3 years, and for the most part, you know, my building is, you know, held up pretty well. No real issues with it, you know. But I thought I'd show you one issue I've started to have. I have a lot of trees on this property that are not in good health, and I really, you know, I don't know why, really. I mean, if you look at this tree right here, I mean, it's a pretty tall tree, and you see these limbs, lower limbs, don't have any leaves on them. This tree right here is a massive tree, huge canopy, and I lost this limb here, so I gotta, you know, all this has happened here in the last little while. And if you look back there, that tree is down, and really all those trees right there in that cluster probably need to come down. You can just kind of tell that the leaves are not growing, you know, and the limbs are not growing correctly on them. They're just sort of little new branches growing off the trunk, and the older branches are kind of dying and so forth. So I got this whole thing that's down. And I got another big one, and I'll show you that, that I got really lucky on. And it's if you notice back behind the shop, there's a row of trees, really tall, you know, relatively speaking, trees. You can see that big one right there. And all those would be disastrous if they came down on the shop, especially on that corner, because that's the living area where it's more than just, you know, some metal. It's, well, one, I'm in there a lot, especially at night, and two, all the detail build out with the, you know, interior wood and all that would just be a disaster if that had to be replaced. But I had a tree come down on this side, and it's on my property, but I got lucky and it went the way of the neighbors. And this particular tree that came down is actually in good health. It came down as a result of the rain and some high winds that we had, and the ground being so soft And I'm right here. You can see this. I don't know if you can see that sign or not. But it says Eureka Lodge. So it's the Masonic Lodge for this area. And they happen to be my neighbors. And so you can see this tree here that's laid out into their property. And today really is the first day. It had standing water underneath it and around it. And you can see they've kind of been mowing around it. And you can see it's still alive. All the leaves and everything are still green on it. But if you look, it's just kind of laid over. So anyway, one morning here in the next few days, I'm gonna have to. You can see the back of the shop. You can kind of see the dust collector right there poking through. So it's yeah. But everything's been going pretty good for me, you know, and let me show you one other thing from a different angle instead of rambling. I'll walk around there. I'm standing at the highway now and looking back at my property, and you can see it's really overgrown by a lot. And I don't know if you can see it, but the shop is back in there, and the barn, you can see the tin roof kind of peeking through right there. But it really grows in thick in the summer. And, you know, for the most part, I kind of like it, you know, and I've kind of got it mowed inside there. But a lot of, you know, foliage and all blocking out the highway noises. And this is my property line down this little dirt road that turns off, which I don't use. There's other people that live down here. So I thought I'd maybe just walk you through this way. I don't know if I've ever shown this on video or not. And you can see I got a lot of, you know, trees that, you know, got hollowed out trunks, and, you know, every one of these are just in really bad shape. And they're gonna have to be dealt with, you know, but I've elected not to really do anything with this yet because, you know, I quit my job in corporate America and used some money I had to buy the shop and land and equipment. And the focus, you know, as far as like spending my time and effort and money, what money I do have now, is back into the shop. You know, things that can make money and make, you know, can kind of enhance my earning ability. One of these days, I will get around to all this, and I will get all this cleaned up. See the back side of the shop there, and or the barn, how overgrown it is. And then you can see the shop through there from this angle, from this dirt road. And then I've had these neighbors back here, and I've got some videos about, on the very early videos on this channel, if you go back and look at the very first ones, there's a better look at the shop from this side. I had some issues with this neighbor back here behind me, but, you know, the lady that lived there is a school teacher. She's very nice. And they got some older sons, and, you know, I met them a few times. Nice guys. It was just the guy, her husband that lived here, was not happy about me being here, you know, because I had all this property, and I built my shop almost butted up right against their property. So I don't think they really appreciated that. And my septic tank ended up being at the back of my shop building here, you know, right next to their property, which, you know, really shouldn't be any kind of an issue. But the thing is they've moved out. This house is for sale now. And, you know, I would love to have this house and the property, you know, to now have all this. They've got a little over an acre spot here. And of course there's pasture land out behind them and out behind me, except for the lodge next to me. So, you know, there's, you know, potential to own a lot of property here. I'm not saying that any of that's for sale, but, you know, anybody for the right price, people would sell anything really. But they want $80,000 for this, and I think the house got some pretty major problems in it. You know, maybe even possibly from some structural problems. They've done a nice job with, you know, the vinyl siding and the nice trim and all on it. But if you look in a few places here and there, like the bottom of this wall here, it's jutted out. I don't know if that's showing up on camera or not. But, and I really don't know why they moved. If they moved, you know, because they got tired of smelling paint fumes from me or what. But anyway, I just thought I'd give you a look from this angle, looking back at the shop and my property. And of course the barn is you know, the back of the barn's right there. And I've got about 2 acres here. I don't really mow that much of it. I've kind of got a little bit of a yard right here that I mow, and so we're back around to the front of the barn. There's the shop, and I haven't really done anything with this. One of the things I'm going to do here in the next couple mornings, get out here before the sun comes up, or before it gets super hot, and get this little room cleaned out. You can see my Simplex motorcycle there. This has just been a junk collection, you know, and now I filled it up so much with just random whatever that there's no more room to put anything in it. So you can see those dolly things I built, you know, and use those. And here's all my sandpaper that I got with the belt sander when I bought it. So let me show you real quick the and I put all my sheet metal offcuts right there, and I've got lots of, you know, little, I don't know, I got some things left over from some big projects, like this probably would come in handy for somebody, some 3/4 inch by, I think it's 6 by 6 on the legs. And I built that bed a while back, and there's the part of the 6 inch 6 by 6 square tubing left on that. And then I was going to show you these trees back here, and so this fall, you know, once hopefully I can make it to then, you can see back there behind it, and these as well. Some of them are kind of leaning that way, you know, away from the shop, and some of them are leaning toward the shop. Of course, the tree on their property right there is, I mean, that's a monster, and it would, you know, if it came down, it would hit that corner of my shop. So I like having the trees around, but, you know, as sickly as most of them are, especially out, you know, out front, the ones I was showing you, these back here don't seem to be quite as bad. But you can see how, you know, how tall they are, and you can see there's one right there that's really leaning or grown over sideways, you know, and it's probably putting weight on these other ones. I'm gonna have a couple of these thinned out. I don't want to remove all of them. You see the back of the paint booth over there, and air compressors and stuff like that. So I'm gonna have somebody come, maybe with a bucket truck, and get these thinned out, and the limbs and everything that are protruding over this way, see if I can just, you know, have that removed along this side, so that all the weight is over there, so that if it ever, you know, wanted to go, it would go that way, away from the shop and not onto the shop. And you can see this corner here gets a little, you know, kind of wet. You can see some mildew coming up and some on the gutter of the shop. That's not really the only place I have that. Looks like some babies coming out of it. I got to get out here and spray for that. It's just you know, it's just a constant battle, and I don't put a lot of work into the outside. I spend most of my time inside working on you know, trying to take care of my customers and whatnot. But anyway, guys, thought I'd just show you what was going on here, and I'm going to make another video on the Ramsey Customs channel and show what's going on inside the shop. So if you want to see what all I got going on in here, which is not a lot right now, actually, I just got through finishing 2 or 3 big projects, and I've got some in the works, and I'm just taking a couple of days here to do working on that belt sander. But check out the other channel, and I'll show you all the details on that.